guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ajayi Bebe. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure you subscribe, you hit the like button, you comment, and you share this video if you like the content. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you guys so very much. Thank you for always coming back. Thank you for the positive feedback in the comments. Thank you so much for those who message me, who encourage me. I am so grateful. Thank you guys so very much. So in the last video I did, we talked about handling emotional blackmail. If you haven't watched that video, I highly encourage that you do that by clicking the link up here. For those who watched it, I got so many feedback from it, and most people were saying it was something they could relate to. So but I felt like I didn't really cover a lot because of time and everything, and that's why I'm doing like a part 2 of that video. But this time I want to talk about handling emotional manipulators. Now, some of you will be asking, what's the difference between emotional blackmail and emotional manipulators? Now, if you watched the previous video, you would understand that those who blackmail you emotionally are not really that discreet. They come out and they tell you like stuff like, if you leave me, I would kill myself. You have to do this because this is how I want it and stuff like that. Emotional manipulators are not usually that direct. Most of them do it indirectly, and instead of blackmailing you to your face, they manipulate you. And many of us are living our lives being manipulated. So how do you recognize emotional manipulation, and what exactly is emotional manipulation, and how do you avoid people who manipulate you emotionally, or how do you even deal with them or handle them, especially if they are people that you cannot avoid? These are the things we'll be talking about in this video. So if you find this interesting, please keep on watching. Thank you. Now, the definition of emotional blackmail and emotional manipulation, it's almost the same thing. The person who is manipulating you or who is blackmailing you uses fear, uses guilt, uses shame, to be able to get what they want from you. One additional things that emotional manipulators use is also the use of obligation, and also using your fears, using your beliefs, using your values, against you. And that's why I said that before a person can successfully manipulate you emotionally, they have to be someone who is close to you, someone who knows you, someone who knows the things that triggers you. They know the right buttons to press to bring a certain kind of emotion from you. There are people that know what you fear. They know your fears. They know the things that that would obligate you. They know the things that you hold in high standard, the things that you believe in, and they know all of those things, and those are the things they use to manipulate you. For instance, if you're a kind of person that you are passionate about not beating women, or maybe, for instance, you grew up from a family where maybe your father was abusive, and you are so passionate about that nothing in this world will ever make you beat a woman. Because of that, the person you are maybe in relationship with, or whoever, like I said, relationship is not just about romantic relationship. Whoever it is that you're in relationship with would start acting up. They will start acting beyond their limits because they know that this is something that you would never do. So maybe you are also like a woman or a wife or a mother who is passionate about her family, passionate about her children, passionate about stuff like that, and and you will do anything to protect your kids, you do anything to protect your home and your family. People know that, or this partner or whoever it is that you're in a relationship with knows that about you, that there's no length you will not go to be able to protect your family. And maybe, for instance, there is maybe a bill or maybe a project they want to bring on that you don't necessarily want to be a part of, and then they'll be like, oh, they'll look for a way to channel and say that, oh, this is also going to help children, and maybe that project doesn't necessarily, or maybe children are not really the focus of that particular project, but because they know that is the way they can get to you, they will use that and look for a way to impute that in what they want, so that they can change your orientation and change your mindset and get what they want from you. So what they do is that they make sure that they make you feel guilty. They use the guilt card to to put your obligation or your sense of responsibilities into question. So a person might say something like, all I do is work, all I do is provide for this family and do this and do that. The least you could do is to make sure that you do this and do that. And then you start feeling guilty, like, oh my God, the person really tries and all of that. Like, you start feeling guilty that you are not contributing, even if that is not the case. But because they know that these are the values that you hold dearly, they are going to try to use that against you. One of the tactics they use is that they make their demands seem reasonable. Like, they use words such as just, just only, the least you could do, you get. So they make it seem like, oh, what they're asking from you is nothing, big. All you needed to do is just to move this meeting, just to make yourself available, just to, give me this little money. And by so doing, they make it seem like you are the one who is being selfish, you are the one who is being unreasonable, you are the one who is being difficult, by not giving them what they want. And at the end of all of this, you find yourself questioning your values, you find yourself questioning, the things that you believe in, and you start rationalizing that, and it's true, it's only this that this person is asking from me. One other key way to identify manipulators, especially in maybe a friendship or a relationship that is just starting. When you meet a person, there is a phase of get to know me, this is what I do, this is what you do. You don't just meet a person and just, tell them your deepest, darkest secrets. But that is what emotional manipulators do. The moment they meet you, they skip a lot of phases and they will start telling you stuff like, oh, their deepest secrets, their darkest secrets, their fears, and all of this they are giving to you in the first date or within the first, few days of meeting them. And they will say stuff like, I've never told anybody this before, you are the first person I've ever told this, there's just this connection between us, and they start revealing deep and dark secrets. Sometimes they are not even true. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who does this is trying to manipulate you. Like, it doesn't happen all the time. And so how you know that it's happening, it's when they now leverage on those things they've told you to, to make you want to do something for them. A very good example I could also give is about this particular friend of mine who was dating this guy, and I think the guy broke up with this ex of his a while ago, and then he met my friend and they started dating. Now, at a point, my friend noticed that this guy is still constantly communicating with his ex, and that is because the ex already knows him. She knows how to get the guy's attention. So she will say something like, oh, she's been suicidal, oh, our relationship right now is not working, her new boyfriend is acting up and stuff like that. Like right now she feels like she's going to like go crazy and stuff like that, because she knows that this guy that she's talking to is sensitive to, stuff like that, to someone wanting to commit suicide or someone wanting to like go crazy and stuff like that. So because of that, he knows that anytime she talks to him, the guy is obligated to answer, because he's always afraid that, she might hurt herself or she might harm herself, you get. So that is one of the ways they manipulate you. And because of that, his current relationship was suffering, because the girl felt like they were in a three-way relationship. Your ex is always calling you when she needs something, when she's, she feels like she's in danger or anything, she wants to talk to you, and then the time we are supposed to spend together, you are spending it with this girl. So who are you dating inside the two of us? So that is another way that they manipulate you. They know you, they know your weaknesses, and they use that against you. Another way to identify them are people who would like try to butter you up. So for instance, maybe a person wants you to, maybe in the future they want you to do something for them, and maybe tomorrow they want you to babysit their kids or something. So they decide to like butter you up, they babysit your kids, they take you on a walk, they offer themselves to you and everything, and on that day they will call you and say, oh, something came up, can you please help me, babysit my kids? And then you feel obligated, because you feel like, oh, this person was there to help me at this time, at this hour, and all of that. Now, like I said, it is their motives that actually identify if they are trying to manipulate you, because this person is doing all the good things that they are doing for you, knowing fully well that on this particular day, this is what I will want you to do in return. You get. And someone shouldn't even be asking you for a favor and be pointing out that, after all I have done for you, people always say that after everything I've done for you, after all these things I've done for you, so just this little thing you cannot do for me. So they do all of these things with their plan in mind, you get. And then on that day, you find yourself helpless, you find yourself defenseless, because you feel like, oh, this person has availed their time for me, they've done this for me, they've done this for that, I feel obligated to do this thing for them, even though of a truth, it doesn't, like, this is not what I want to do, or this is not, I don't have time for this, or stuff like that. Another very common like incidents that happen, this happened usually in marriages. This was actually a story that was told just yesterday. A person that watched my video, this woman, she got her degree, she did everything and all of that, and every opportunity that came to her husband would not directly tell her that don't do this, but he would look for a subtle way to belittle those opportunities, to belittle and say, oh, what do you need this for? I can give you this. Because in this particular case, it felt like if this woman goes there and she becomes better, or better than me, she might not see my value in this family anymore. She might leave me, or she might become much more successful than me. Some men have egos like that. They don't want their wives to be successful. So any opportunity that comes to them, they try try as much as possible to make it seem like they won't directly take the opportunity from you or ask you not to do it, but they will belittle it, like that, oh, don't worry, there'll be better opportunities in the future, like better things are going to come, you don't need this is below you, this is beneath you. Another way to identify them is that they are people who always twist the facts. Like they don't a story just came to mind that I don't want to share because I don't have permission to do so. But they always alter reality, they alter facts. They don't even like to deal with facts. They deal more with emotions. Like for instance, maybe you guys are discussing something, or maybe you have opposite views on something, and the next thing the person will start doing is maybe start crying. You know, as we women would do it. I will not lie, I have done it before and it worked. But you know, sometimes it's I don't know. I feel like, you know, you and your partner or you and your colleague should be able to like hear both sides and come to a middle ground. But when you use like emotions, like you start crying, you start, you know, you don't want to list the facts. The facts are right there, but when you say that you are getting you are not the one getting the upper hand, you start to use emotions to be able to get your way. Another way is that people try to exaggerate the situation, you know, to make themselves look rational. So they'll be like, and me, I know I exaggerate it, like sometimes when I'm having arguments, I can like, maybe there are just two people, they'll be like, there were like 1 million people there. You know, that is wrong. Like, you know, that is wrong. So most times I always call myself like, there were not 1 million people there, there were just 5 people there. You know, so the way they exaggerate is just to make their points come out as being strong, or to be able to like to manipulate you. So what other way they will do is probably to underestimate their role in the conflict. Like they will try as much as possible to be like, oh, this was the only thing I did, and the next thing I know, you just started doing this and doing that. Another sign is that they always try to make you feel sorry for voicing out your concern, or they try as much as possible not to accept responsibilities for their own errors. And they always criticize you. They always look for something that you are not doing right. They are also very passive aggressive. Like they won't directly be aggressive to you. Maybe they will use your friends, or they will use the people that you love, or the people that you trust, or they'll use your children, especially if you're in a marriage or stuff. They will use your kids to, you know, to get to you or to show their anger to you. Also, you need to remember that it's not in all cases that these communications or these instances are people trying to manipulate you. Sometimes you have to look at their motives. It is something that they do all the time, and they always do it to be able to, you know, get the upper hand, or to get you to do something you don't want to do, you know, frequently. Then you know that this person is being manipulative. But before we go into how, let's talk about the victims of emotional manipulation, because God, was I a victim? Now, who are most likely the victims? They are almost the same thing as the victims of emotional blackmail. They are people who are always seeking for attention, who are always seeking for people's approval, you know, on things. They are people who are extremely compassionate, and people who are, you know, empathetic. Like they always try to put themselves in this person's shoes. They will most likely let go of what they want to be able to please this person. They have the tendency to, like, you know, to take the blame. I realized this when I came to America, to be honest, because where I grew up, you know, in my country, where I come from, we are not used to throwing people under the bus. Like, if anything goes wrong, you try as much as possible to curb it, especially when it comes to your colleagues, or maybe you are in a teamwork and stuff like that. You try to, as much as possible, manage the situation, which is what I was doing for a long time. But I got to learn that people here don't see it that way. If you do something wrong, you take responsibility for it. So, and me, I saw it as you are throwing me under the bus. But to them, they are not throwing you anywhere. They are just trying to make you take responsibility for what you did. But what me I would do when somebody else is doing something wrong, and then my boss asks, I will most likely say stuff like, oh, it was an oversight from the team, you know, the team did this, the team did that. Or, you know, sometimes I'll even say, oh, I was the one who did not like follow up on this correctly, like it's not her fault, I should have done this, I should have done that. And where that is good, especially when it comes to teamwork and stuff like that. I mean, I still do that in some instance, but before you do that, make sure that the person you are trying to cover up for knows that, hey, this is what you did, but this is what I did to cover it. But next time, make sure that you don't repeat something like this. But once in a while, if the person is a person that does this consistently, now I've got to how to handle them. Like, I'll be talking about how to handle them hand in hand. So if the person does it consistently, you may want to like let the person also take responsibility, because sometimes it's not always good when you are patting people at the back and taking responsibilities for them. Let them also know that, hey, listen, you have to take responsibility once in a while for what you do. If you're kind of person that, you know, you don't want conflict, you try as possible to avoid any problem or any issue, you will most likely want to take blame for things. You most likely want to, like, you know, give in when any issue happens, and, you know, you can be easily manipulated. If you also have a strong sense of responsibility, or you always want to do the right thing, and people know that about you, that you have a sense, you always like want to do what is right and stuff like that, people will always look for a way to manipulate you. Like they will say stuff like, hey, I thought you were an honest person, I thought you were a Christian, I thought you were this, I thought you were that, so why are you not allowing this and this and that? So they will always look for a way to rationalize their own demands by trying to make it in line with your values and the things that you hold in high esteem. Also, if you're a person who you have the fear of losing people, you have a fear of people might abandon you, people might leave you, and they know that you are very sensitive to that, or you fear, or that is one of your fears, you most likely be emotionally blackmailed. Or if you are even the person that you are afraid of getting someone angry, just like I said, I'm a peacemaker, I don't want people to get angry, so because of that, I used to take a lot of a lot of crap from people, because I don't want people around me to be angry. I don't like negative energies around me. But like I said, especially if you're going to work in the professional setting, people will always offend you, people will always make you upset. So how do you deal with it? You can't always run away from stuff like that. And if you're also a person that suffers with low self-esteem, trust me, I suffered with it for a long time. People will manipulate you. They will manipulate you if you don't have a good self-esteem. So how do you deal with stuff like that? Number one, I'll start from the bottom up. Try to, as much as possible, build your self-confidence. Build your self-confidence. I did a video about the imposter syndrome. I'm going to upload it next week Saturday. So make sure that you watch it. It's really, really, so many of us struggle with it, and it kills our self-confidence a lot. So make sure that you work on your self-confidence. You own your achievements. You know the things you can do, and you own your skills. So don't allow anybody to to make you feel like you are less than. You get, so work on your self-confidence. The second thing is, so if you find yourself like you're a people pleaser or an approval seeker, the first thing you need to do is to work on that. You need to learn how to celebrate yourself, how to make yourself feel valued, how to not be too concerned with what people say about you. That doesn't mean that you don't take constructive feedback, but when the feedback is not helping you, when the feedback is bad or hurts you or stuff like that, you should have the tendency to be able to let it go. Validate yourself. And if you're a person who you are extremely compassionate and extremely empathetic, which is someone that I am, but you always need to know where to draw the line. Set boundaries for yourself, set boundaries for your relationship. Know that, okay, this is who I am, this is what I do. I would not accept this, but that does not mean that I'd be stupid and I just allow you to walk all over me. So know where to set the boundaries in every relationship that you have. Also, try as much as possible not to engage the person. When the person starts to use their emotion, maybe they start to cry, or they start to to belittle you or to belittle your feelings and stuff, don't engage with them, because the more you try to engage with them, the more you give them things to leverage upon. So allow them to talk, allow them to give them everything, and when they are done, apologize for your part or whatever part you had to play in it, but let them know that, see, this is what I hold in high esteem. These are my values and my fears, and I know that you know this about me. But in as much as this is who I am, in as much as these are the things that I love, I would not allow that to to cloud my judgment about this particular thing. So don't engage them in an argument. Allow them to argue. Allow them to yell if they want to yell. Allow them to cry if they want to cry, and everything. If they need to cool down, give them time. Let them cool down, and when they are done, go back to them and say, "Are you ready to have a logical, a logical conversation about this, or do you want us to have it another time?" So when they start to let their emotions to come in, or they start to get angry, or they start to get too emotional, tell them that, listen, okay, I know you are emotional at this point, but I would like us to have this conversation when the two of us are level-headed and when we are able to come to a reasonable conclusion. But if you allow them, or you indulge them, or you come to a decision right then and then when they are upset, or when they are angry, or when they are emotional and stuff like that, you will end up giving in. So whenever they try to break down, and if maybe it's face-to-face confrontation, allow them to break down, apologize to them, pet them and everything, then go back to your corner, send them a text message and let them know that, listen, I know this is how it hurts you, I know this is how it affects you, but this is what I still stand by. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any other tips on how to handle emotional blackmailers, please make sure you leave it in the comment section. So thank you also very much. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, please make sure you share this video, please make sure you subscribe, and please make sure you like and you leave a comment. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, my name is Victoria Ajayi Bembe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.